prior to me getting fired in March of 2012, I started a blog. So my clients came to me. I was, like I said, I was a mediocre hairstylist, but I would give them advice. And they loved my advice. So they would call me like their therapist. One of my clients was moving to Las Vegas, and she was like, I'm going to miss our talks. Like, I wish you started a blog. And I'm like, well, what's a blog? So that night, I went home and Googled blog, and I immediately created one because it was like an online magazine. And I always wanted my own magazine. So I created my blog. It was IamMilanRouge.com, and I would give out love advice, dating advice, fashion advice, and motivational advice. And from there, I would like highlight different people on Instagram.
Were you making money at all from the blog?
No. I wasn't making money because I didn't even know that it could turn into money.
Right.
But I would highlight different people on Instagram and like steal her swag. So I would like post a picture and like say where they get their outfit from, and you can find out on my website. So on my website, I had gained over 100,000 views in 3 months. And once I gained those views, my mind was like, okay, now I can sell them a product. And from there, I created Milano Di Rouge. So once I got fired, and that was like the same time frame. Once I got fired, it was like, okay, now it's time to really create it. Like now it's time to like go all in and like, all right, what do you want to do? And I didn't really have like much experience with Photoshop or anything. Yeah. I remember going to this website. I forget the name. Start with a C. It allows you to like to mock up a shirt.
Canva?
No, not Canva. I forget the name of it. It's like a little, I forget the name, but it allows you to like mock up a shirt and create your logo. And I was just playing with things, and
you just started. So you had two shirts at that time, right?
I designed 2 shirts.
Right.
Yeah. And that was my 5-city shirt. So the 5 cities, it was like the cross. It was a red cross, and then it had London, Tokyo, Paris, Milan, and New York. So it was like the 5 fashion cities of the world. That's why I came up with that.
That still sell?
We stopped selling it.
Did you sell a lot though?
I did. It was like one of our popular styles. I had it for years. I think I stopped selling it like in 2018.
So your first shirt from 2012 to 2018, it was still selling. You were making money off of that.
Yeah, and
the idea that you mocked up on a website.
Yes, in the Milano Di Rouge signature shirt. That's our first shirt too. That's one of our number 1 seller.
You know, Black culture contributes so much to social media and the creativity of social media. So I want to start with BlackPlanet. BlackPlanet was really the first social network. And if you think about it, if you look at the old UX UI of BlackPlanet, it's very similar to what MySpace built.
Hold on. How old are you? You don't know what BlackPlanet is, do you? I know, it's crazy. It was founded
in like 2000, 2001. Omar Wassow, this other dude, they founded it. But if you look at the UX UI of BlackPlanet, MySpace,
UX UI, what's that mean?
User experience, user interface.
Yep.
So it looks very similar to the way that MySpace looked. And MySpace came around in like 2004 or 5.
Gotcha.
So we were always the inspiration for platforms like that. MySpace died out. And then people migrated to Facebook, and then
why did MySpace die out? Do you know?
I think.
Do you have any theories?
I think probably just because they sold it. I think it was a cash out. Like he cashed out, and he was no longer running the platform. And those platforms, Facebook and MySpace, were pre-mobile. Instagram was the first mobile-first application. It started.
Oh, Twitter?
No, Twitter was desktop first.
Oh, so you're saying like they built it for that particular
for the mobile device.
Gotcha.
Instagram was the first, to build it for a mobile device.
Gotcha. Yeah. So BlackPlanet, MySpace sees BlackPlanet and creates something just like it, more money.
Yeah.
And white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there an
and centered around, but it was also the freedom to change your profile and be expressive and creative. Yeah. I can move my top 8 around. I can put a clock on there, a song. It just gave the freedom of creativity, and people really like that.
Right. After MySpace was what? Facebook.
Yeah.
MySpace was before Facebook. Yeah, because it was around that same time, but Facebook started for colleges.
Yep.
Right. Were you on Facebook early on?
No.
How old are you?
I'm 47.
You weren't on Facebook? Oh, because you probably weren't in college.
I didn't go to college.
Gotcha. And then people transitioned to what?
Twitter.
Yeah. Where was Snapchat in this? After Twitter?
Snapchat was after Instagram.
Was it?
Yeah, Snapchat was like...
What was the one before Snapchat that was like Snapchat? It was something.
No, maybe Vine, but...
Vine.
But Vine was right above, but you know what's so funny? There were a lot of social media platforms. Now the one thing the difference between, I'll say this, when it comes to adoption, like I'll be the first person to tell you that I hated on every social media platform that ever came out until I got the aha moment. And then I realized what the big play was, right? I hated on every single one. Mm-hmm. I got on MySpace, was like, this is stupid. Till I've seen my homeboys huddled around a desktop, like, you can have friends, girls on here. And I was like, word? Right? And then Twitter was like, I got on Twitter, my former publicist, God rest her soul, she said, you need to get on this platform called Twitter. It was like 2007. And I got on there, nobody was there. It was empty.
Really?
Nobody was on, nobody. I would tweet and I would get no response, right? Nothing would happen. I said, this is stupid, right? And then Michael Jackson died in 2009 and everybody was talking about it on Twitter. And I said, oh, this is going to be the news before the news. So if someone gets to shooting, the people that are there will let people know what's going on via Twitter before the news can even get there.
Fact.
So it's instant news. Twitter, by the way, I think is the only immortal social network. I think it'll never go away because Twitter's defined. All the other social networks are defined by the generation that use them. Twitter's defined by what's happening right now. Who won the game? What's Elon Musk doing? You know, who got in trouble with who? What is China doing? It's right now.
Instagram's the same way.
No, Instagram has an audience. It's not defined by what's now. It's defined by the generation that make it relevant. Instagram's irrelevant right now. TikTok is more relevant than Instagram.
So when I say make more offers, it means literally to make more of one offer or more of the 4 different kinds of offers. And then if you have like multiple offers in each one of those 4 kinds, that's okay. There are 4 types of offers.
Okay, talk to me.
There's lead generation offers. Mm-hmm. That's just, you make an offer to somebody, they give you their information in exchange for some of your valuable content that you could sell to them, but instead you give it to them in exchange for their name and phone number and email address.
No money.
No money. So that's called a lead generation offer. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then you have a core product offer. That's like the main thing that you sell. For instance, like for me, my core product offer is a VIP ticket to the Make More Offers Challenge. That's a core product for us.
Core product is the Make More Offers Challenge
ticket. Yeah.
Ticket.
The challenge ticket for the VIP. That's a core product. The general admission ticket is kind of a downsell. For people who want to come, but they feel like they're not worth investing $297. So, and I know that sounds kind of a funny way to say it, but they don't believe that we've been programmed to believe that everything's valuable but us. And so that's what I mean when I say that. I'm not condescending when I say people don't think they're worth it, but they literally don't think they're worth it. They have more money put in their shoe closet, in their wardrobe, in their cars, in the rims on their cars than they put in their brain. And so they don't think they're worth investing $297. So we have a downsell so they can still get the information, but it's not as, that experience is not as intimate. So that's our core product. And then you have PVOs, which are premium value offers, which is the Offer Mastery Coaching, Offer Mastery Bootcamp, and the King Solomon's Wisdom Inner Circle, and the King Solomon's Royal Family. Those are premium value offers. And then we have continuity offers. A continuity offer is when you sell something once, they pay for it over and over, like our Bible Success Academy. It's $27.99 a month.
Gotcha. So for somebody that's just, how do you know what offer to pick though? So
it depends on where you are. Depends on where you are in like the entrepreneurial game. Like some people like decide one day they wake up that I hate my job, I want to be an entrepreneur. Well, where do you start, right? Yeah. Right. You have to figure out what you have that offers value to people and you create an offer around that thing. So that person might start with a core product offer. But you've got your morning meetup already. You already had that. You already had, was that the only product you sold? Well, no. Then you
T-shirts,
books, right? And
I do workshops for like $10.
Workshops for $10. Can I buy one? I got $10.
Well, not anymore since I've been in the inner circle.
Oh, okay,
but, okay. Only because you helped me realize that doesn't really serve anybody. Right. Like if somebody pays $10 to come to something, or even $20, $30 to leave out of your house. $20. Some people, you'll see people buy it and they don't even come, or they come, say there's good information, then they leave, but
they don't have any transformation.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, so where you were when you came into our inner circle, you had a continuity offer.
Yeah.
You had a core product offer, interview on your podcast or whatever, or maybe sell some ads, or maybe your $10 I forgot what you called
Don't
it.
say it like that because I like those events.
I said whatever you call. I didn't know what you called it, bro. Wow. Okay, but anyway, so that, or you already had all that stuff. So the thing that you were lacking as an entrepreneur, you were lacking a PVO. You didn't have a premium value offer, right? So I gave you the opportunity, the privilege to pay me a lot of money for my premium value offer. So then you knew that people would pay for a premium value offer because you just did it.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Let me tell you something. Can I be honest?
Please.
I'm
lie to
going.
me, bro. Lie to me.
I'm going. This is a true story. I'm going to make a pitch on my premium value offer.
Sure.
I just realized it was called that. But I talked to somebody, and it made a lot of sense.
It seemed to make a lot of sense.
But he was telling me like, yo, man, you get these coaches and they're off, there's like these high ticket coaches, and you could simply become one of these people that people look at as the person who's always looking to make a sale and asking for a whole lot of money. And even if you're not like getting over on people, you're going to be grouped in the group of people that's a scam, and you're using like psychology to make sales for people, and I don't feel that that's right. This is a conversation that I'm having. Right before
you said a whole bunch of interesting stuff in that whole state.
It's all true, too.
I know, but
we'll break it down. Yeah. But this is the day I'm about to make my offer. And I go on there and I'm feeling away. And I'm like, dang, I don't want to be the person that's always selling something to somebody. So I do make the offer, but the way I did it was like, hey, I got this offer. You could do it if you want to, but you don't have to. Okay, I'm not pressuring you, but this is what we offer, but you don't have to do it. Okay, I just want you to know that I'm not pressuring you. And one, that taught me I'm not talking to anybody pitch day, ever. Like not even
You might want to have a conversation with me for pitch day, because I'm not going to tell you anything that's crazy.
A fact. So break down what was going on, because it really affected me, and I felt the way.
So people make the mistake of thinking that making something easier for somebody actually helps them. Where in life does that ever prove to be true? Where? Like, you go into the military, can you imagine drill instructor saying, well, we were going to make y'all shoot guns, but that's not going to be fun, so we're going to just play marbles. That doesn't prepare anybody for battle, right? And so what happens is we think that making it easier for somebody makes it better for them just because it makes them more comfortable now. But there is a principle called the easy, hard principle. You know about the easy, hard principle, right?
Kind of.
Easy on the front ends, hard on the back end. Hard on the front ends, easy on the back end.
But people have built big businesses with lower ticket, easy to.
Sure they have.
But it doesn't help the buyer much. Yeah, kind of.
Well, it depends. It depends on what the thing is.
Yeah.
It depends on what the thing is. It's a very nice watch, by the way.
Thanks.
Does it keep good time?
Not really.
Not really. But it looks
really.
like, it's probably not really, but it looks like a Rolex.
It is.
They probably sell watches cheaper than that.
Yeah, join Inner Circle. You know what I mean?
So why did you buy a Rolex?
Because I did this offer. You know what I mean?
The real reason, though, is because you believed you were worth it. See, what people have to start doing, they put value on everything outside themselves and value on nothing inside themselves. When the greatest value that they have is all internal. It's not the stuff that you have, it's the person that you are. Right? So this person who made you believe right before you made all these people start selling these high ticket offers, then people are going to think, well, what people? The people who want to stay stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck are going to think you're one of those people who only wants to sell high ticket offers so you can make a lot of money. Well, the people who shop at Walmart, I'm figuratively speaking, they might think that about you. But there's people who shop at Neiman Marcus aren't going to think anything about it. Neiman Marcus does not attempt to attract Walmart buyers, and Walmart doesn't attempt to attract Neiman Marcus buyers. You just have to figure out what kind of business you want to have.
Yeah.
Right? You want to serve the best clients, the best offers, and people who are going to actually do something with it, because according to the scriptures, what? The heart follows the pocketbook, right? Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. A lot of people sell stuff to people. They'll sell them something really, really cheap to make it easy for them, but their pocketbook ain't in it, so their heart ain't in it.
Yeah.
That's real. That's real. So as an entrepreneur, you get this idea. I'm going to create my own social media platform.
Yeah.
Who was the first person on there?
Well, first, I never built an app before. Let's talk about that. I'm a songwriter, producer by trade. I've been producing and writing music and in the music industry. And I talked to some friends of mine that I met at the gathering spot in Atlanta. Justin Dawkins, Barry Gibbons, and Jewel Burks. They were like my tech senseis, right? I call them my tech senseis.
Did they build fan base?
No, they gave me, I went to them and said, how do you build an app? And they were like, you need this, you need this, you need this person, you have to have that and do that. And they said, you need some money, right? And so being a person in music, fortunately enough for me, I had kind of pivoted out of just producing for regular people and started putting my music on TV and film. I could advance myself royalties. So I advanced myself like $200,000 and spent that money to build the MVP of fan base.
Hold on. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Explain that.
What do you mean?
You started advancing yourself royalties. What the heck? I don't understand.
So instead of producing for artists, right, and getting on albums, I took all my instrumentals and gave them to a company, and they put them in reality shows and TV shows. So Real Housewives, Love and Hip Hop, Married to Medicine, Guy Code, E! News, TNT. Every time you're watching those shows in the background, those transitions, those are like, a lot of that is my music. It's been my music for like 7 or 8, 9 years. Right?
Really?
Yeah, and you get paid every time they play it. So you just go to the mailbox and get a check, you know. So I might go to the mailbox and get a check for like $25,000 for a quarter, you know, make, you know, stuff like that. So I said, I'll advance myself the money and just take a gamble. And that's usually what you call a friends and family round, where you get that first initial like pre-seed capital to build your prototype. I said, I can bypass that and not give up equity in the company and just foot the bill myself. And I'm a risk taker. I don't, you know.
Gotcha. So I'm sorry, just in case, because I can make beats a little bit. So I can take some money. If you have revenue coming in, you can say, all right, give me $200,000 against my future earnings.
Right.
And they'll give it to you at a cost, I would imagine.
With BMI, no, it's just they just give it to you.
Oh, that's lit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's dope. So was 200,000 the number?
Yeah. Well, I did 100. I did 100, and I think I did 100 one time, and then I went and got another 100.
So $200,000 to build the app.
Yeah.
What was the first step you took? Like, what was the first dollar that you had to pay to build a app?
So, first thing I did was the name Fanbase. I trademarked it. I didn't have anybody to build it. I said, let me see if I can trademark the name Fanbase specifically for a downloadable social media software in the form of subscription, and it was available. And I trademarked it. Okay. Then that same attorney, my attorney, a good friend of mine, Drew, we've been working together for about 18 years in music. He's like, and this is a very significant part about the story, because Fanbase is a Black founded social media startup. And what I'm about to say is not to throw anybody under the bus, but initially my goal was to I want Black developers. I want to find, I had a Black mentor that was helping me. And in the process, that person kind of just disappeared. And then the first guy that I went to that was a Black developer was like, he's a little too busy to build it. And the second guys didn't have their stuff together. So my attorney, Drew, was like, I know this Argentinian guy who built a really cool website for me. And he has a company, and they build stuff for like the CDC and Taco Bell. He has a development company. You need to meet him. And he lives in Atlanta, but the team is in Argentina, so it'll cost way less. Like if you're trying to build what you're trying to build, it'll probably cost you $600,000. You can probably get it done for $125,000, $130,000. And me and Ramiro met, and it was magic. It was like, boom. Like when I'm talking about ready to go, it was like instantly chemistry, communication. It was like perfect. So I paid initially that company to develop Fanbase. Gotcha. Along the way, Ramiro and his business partners have been in business for about 10 or 12 years, and they approached me and they said, hey, we want to invest in Fanbase. Like, this is the first thing we built that we feel like we ain't never heard nothing like this. This can go somewhere. And by talking to Jewel and Barry and Justin, you have to have a CTO, and people don't know that's a chief technology officer. So you have to have someone that can build what you say you want to build. So as much as I have a vision, someone has to execute that vision. There's a good book called Rocket Fuel that you should read. Andre 3000 told me to read it, but it talks about visionaries and integrators. And so I'm a visionary. I play that role. It's big ideas, close the deals. I'm that guy, but you have to have people to integrate. Yeah. And Ramiro is an integrator. So they take all the stuff that I say on my vision and make the buttons do what they're supposed to do masterfully.
Let me ask this question.
Yeah.
Why was your first thought, I want the whole team to be Black?
Because there is a disproportionate relationship between Black culture and technology. When I was reading the amount of money that companies like Facebook were making in ad revenue, $113 billion a year, $90 billion a year, right? And my point is like, has anybody ever thought the vehicle is Facebook, the vehicle is Instagram, the gasoline is youth and Black culture? Has anybody ever stopped and said, hey, like, let's take $6 billion and put it in the hood? You know what I mean? Like, let's put it in Chicago. Let's put it in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Really, let's create like creator centers and teach kids how to code and do all this, stuff like that. And it's like, nah. And so the gift and the curse of being Black is we are the apex of innovation. There's nothing cooler than a Black person on the planet. I'm telling you, it's like
nothing cooler than a Black person. That's a fact.
It's nothing cooler than Black people. Like it's impossible to market and promote anything as being cool without the assistance of Black people. It can be sentimental, romantic, adventurous, exciting, cool. You need our dances, you need our slang, you need our fashion, you need something from us that says, yeah, that's what's next and that's what's cool. And that is mined and siphoned through advertising and through companies. That is the vibranium. It's like the way that when I say a car doesn't run without gasoline, right? Social media doesn't run without the petroleum of Black culture. And we give it away for free. We just let it flow. And what happens is it is mined and used and then monetized, but nobody in the hood gets it. Yeah. So the little girl that creates the Savage Challenge, she doesn't wind up with the brand deal, winds up being Charlie D'Amelio or Addison Rae or like that. They just take it and pump it up and let them be rich, but they want you to keep continuing to do that. And that is what I say is we have to turn our innovations into acquisitions. Right? We innovate at a speed and a pace that we understand we're creating industries. I got a chance to virtually meet Grandmaster Flash about 6 months ago. And I use this all the time when I talk to people. I said, the moment that you DJ'd on 2 turntables and a mixer, someone should have pulled you to the side and said, do not show an MF of what you just showed me. Let's go figure out how to build turntables and mixers. Because everybody that does this is going to need that. Wow. Fast forward. Pioneer, Techniques, Serato, they own the multi-billion-dollar DJ culture. They own it. Everybody should be DJing on the Flash 5000 right now. He should be sitting up in some mansion worth about $20 billion because he innovated something, but you don't make it an acquisition. We do that with cars. I actually saw somebody made a joke. Somebody made a joke about the Rolls Royce star ceiling. It's like, you can have the Rolls Royce star ceilings. I was like, yo, we was doing that at Impalas. Like in the 90s, like, dog, you know what I'm saying? So we innovate everything. It's like all the luxury cars are what we were doing in the hood. Yeah. My dad had a TV refrigerator in a car in a Cadillac in the 70s. Every car has that now. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's just what we do. We just do fly put Mick on the floor. Just stupid. But
give me the edited version, please.
You know sorry. Please. Just stupid stuff. So, we just do wild, flamboyant stuff. Yeah. And then but that is cool. Yeah. And people want those things. And so as a development team, I was like, we need to own it. Because a lot of times we have these, these things that we build, that we sell. Like prime example, and I'll use this. This is a very, very great thing that's happened with QC selling, right? Mm-hmm. They sold their label for like $250 million, right? But we also have to sometimes shoot a little higher to be like Tyler Perry, to own everything. There's a difference between, I think.
So are you saying they shouldn't have sold?
No, because the reason why I'm saying that they shouldn't have sold, because they can still take that revenue and do other things with it. Like everybody that's selling their catalog, they can do. It's a business. Businesses are built to be sold. Everyone will. But I'm the kind of person that wants to take that chance to own the entire infrastructure. People look at Tyler Perry like, okay, it's like this. When most Black filmmakers in Hollywood want to go make a movie, they have to walk around to a bunch of production companies and say, can I have money to make my movie? Can I have money to make my movie? Can I have money to make my movie? Tyler Perry goes in his back pocket. He writes a check for his movie, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then he goes to his studio and films the whole project on the studio. And then he puts it out on the streaming service because he owns half of BET Plus and gets $100 million a year from that deal.
Does he own half of BET Plus?
He gets $100 million a deal, $100 million a year off that deal. Yeah. Of BET Plus.
Tyler the Perry.
And he licenses his content. So he took his content from TBS to Lionsgate to OWN and now to BET. He just moves it around. He never sold it. He licensed it. And so people look at Tyler Perry like, well, where do we exploit him at? Where do we get in? Where do we make money? He owns it from, inception to distribution.
And they can't get in.
And we have to do that with social media.
But I need to know how you sold it though, because it's not, they'll come up with an idea. Like, I'm gonna come up with this shirt, right? And if nobody sees it, then nobody's gonna buy it. Or like, I don't know. How did people just start buying it?
So I remember, the night that I wore it, I was at a party. I wasn't even trying to go to the party, to be honest. Because I would have never just wore a sweatshirt and jeans to a party. My hair wasn't done. I'm going to show you the photo too. I had my hair in.
Let me see the photo.
I got to find it. Let me see. Oh, wait, it's in the other bag. I got to find it. I had on I got to pull it up. It would be good for you to see. But I had on the gray sweatshirt. I wasn't going to a party. Like everyone else was dressed and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to come and swag it. I don't care. And one of the guys from my city, he was like, yo, I like your shirt. Because when I first did it, it said Milano, Italy. It didn't say Milano di Rouge. He was like, yo, I like your shirt. I'm like, oh, you like it? So the fact that the first day I wore it, somebody liked it, I was happy. Like, oh, this is mine. I made this. And then the next day I'll post on Instagram my shirt. And then I was like, who wants to buy the other one, basically. So I wore one and I sold it. Because I only bought two.
Oh, you're okay. I'm thinking you were saying you had two designs. You're saying you had two shirts.
Two shirts. I wore a sweatshirt and sold the other sweatshirt. And then I took that and flipped that and I bought 5. Yeah.
No way.
Yes.
So first off, how much did it cost you to print the shirts?
It was like, so what I was doing was I was going to a retail place. So it was like $25 to get the sweatshirt and the print all together. So
you're just finding a shirt like this in a store. You, like heat press or
no,
what?
So the place that I went to, they sold shirts, they sold blanks, and they would print it on there. So I would go there and like pick out my stuff. I was so happy to find it too. I went there and like pick out the color that I wanted, and I put the logo. They put the logo on it, and they gave it to me. $25. So that was a lot of money for it.
Yeah, how much you selling for?
I started off at 40. So people would be like, "Why would 45?" People was like, "Why is your shirts $45? Everyone else selling shirts is $25." I'm like, okay, they're not Milano. But it was really because, and it was really because, right. And it was because though I was paying retail price. So like, I remember when I was starting to, I would ask like the different people. It was a lot of guys in our city selling t-shirts at the time. And I would ask them like, hey, I want to start a t-shirt brand. Where do I get shirts from? No one told me. And then one person that did tell me, he told me to go to this retail place. So I had no idea about wholesale. I had no idea that I was paying like top dollar for this stuff and people was getting it for like literally a fraction of the cost. Because you can get a shirt and print it up for like $7.99. I'm paying $25 for it. And I did that for like probably like 5 months.
No way.
Yeah.
Paying the retail price. And that's why you got to make it a premium price because you paying $25.
Yes. And then I remember it was a black guy inside of the store. And the store that I was going to, it was like it was Asian owned, but it was a black guy inside of the store. He was like, hey, I just want to tell you that, like, I see you in here a lot. He was like, you do know you can get this for a fraction of the price from a wholesale. Like, you got to go to like an actual manufacturer. So he gave me an Alpha embroider book. I don't know if y'all know that.
Alpha
he gave me that. Yeah. Yep. He gave me that book. And at the time it was called Bodak and Roots. Yep. But he gave me that book and he was like, everything you want in here, you want to get it for a fraction of the cost. And then he gave me a card to some guys that print it. And the first day I went to the guys that print, I ran into the guy that sent me to the other place. I'm like, oh, hi. So it was a...
Shouts out to us looking out for us.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Taking money away from the man. Well, Asian, I don't know. But that was good. That was cool though. That was what's up.
The guy that initially sent me to the retail space, I ran into him when I went to the manufacturer. And I'm like, hey, he's like, what's up? I'm like, so my face was like I filmed it. But I wasn't mad. You know why? Because I felt like he worked hard to find his manufacturer. He don't have to give me that. 100%. And it just taught me that if I wanted something bad enough, the answer isn't as hard to find as I thought. And that's how I looked at everything. Like, if you truly want it, you're going to go for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I met you. Like, so like now it's like, I appreciate it so much more.
You said something the other day that really clicked.
Okay.
It was the philosophy of be, do, and then have.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about it, and I coach people, and I have clients. And your premise is, I got to get people to believe that they are something more than themselves, or to be something else, not just tell them what to do.
Yeah, most coaching programs are. I won't say most because I've not counted, So many coaching programs, right? Many coaching programs only help people realize what they can't do. They don't help people become the person who can do the thing. So many coaching programs have way more failures than success stories because they're teaching the people what to do without teaching them how to become the person who can do it. The principle of high achievement is be, do, have, which means don't be, can't do, don't do, can't have. Be a little, do a little, do a little, have a little.
Whoa. Be, hold on, say it again.
Be, do, have.
Yes.
Don't be, can't do.
Don't be, can't be. Can't do.
Don't do, can't have.
True.
Right?
Makes sense.
Be a little, do a little, have a little.
Mm-hmm.
Be a lot, do a lot. Do a lot, have a lot. So the foundational premise of the whole thing is the being. You're not called a human doing. You're not called a human having. You're called a human
being.
Why? Because the most important thing about you is who you are being, who you are becoming. The whole purpose of life is to perpetually be becoming more until you die. That's the whole purpose of life, to be becoming more.
So someone invests in my program, right?
Right.
My responsibility is to get them to become something else. Or not something else, but to become more.
It's really, even more than to get them to become more, is to get them to acknowledge who they are and to get them to aspire to be who they can be. Right? Who we are, that's the value we have right now, but who we can become, that's the potential that we have right now. And the potential is the difference between who we are right now and who we can be. And so our job is to show people their potential and get them to move towards that potential. That's our job. That's your job as a coach. That's your job as a parent. That's a pastor's job. That's a teacher's job. That's a friend's job. It's a husband's job, a wife's job. To help, like all of us, we're supposed to help the people around us grow. As iron sharpeneth iron, so doth the man sharpen the countenance of his friends. That's my purpose, to help you become more, to help you become sharper. You help me become sharper. We help each other become better. That's
that makes sense. Because I have a course, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, well, first step is you've got to check out the course. Now, the course is kind of like the step-by-step stuff that you are supposed to do.
Sure.
And then 3 weeks later, you ask a question. I'm like, yeah, did you check out the course? They're like, no, I didn't watch the course. And then a coach would be inclined to say, hey, watch the course. It's in there. Mm-hmm. But that's just, again, me telling people what to do, not getting them to become the type of person who would actually go through the course.
Yeah. So, and the way you really help people become is you people love stories, right? Mm-hmm. And they can relate to stories. So you could tell them either a historical or metaphorical story. Historical meaning something that you know has happened with someone, or metaphorical, just a story about, it could be a story about a comic book character, something made up off of a television show. It could be off of a fairy tale, whatever, right? Metaphorical. So you tell them a story or a metaphorical story that helps them see someone who desired the same transformation they desire, and they went through the process of becoming. And then you tell them the story of somebody else who wanted the same thing, and they refused to go through the process. You show them how each of those people ended up. One of those people could even be you. That's why personal testimonies are so powerful. Because one, people that you tell your story to, they can see their story in your story. Mm-hmm. Plus, they think they're smarter than you and better than you and faster than you. So if you did it, I know I'm going to do it. Shan did it. Sure. I know I got this. Right? That's how people think. They won't say it, but they'll think it.
So the purpose of the story is to get them to see something.
Right. The purpose of the story is to get them to feel what the transformation would feel like. Because when we listen to stories, or we read stories, or we watch stories, we do it vicariously. We put ourselves in the place of the person in the story. That's why when you watch a movie, I'm probably going to mess up movies for y'all, but that's okay. If you're making less than like $50,000 a month, you don't need to be watching TV anyway. So, but I'm probably going to mess up movies for you. So if you watch a movie, you will see that movies have a very intentional and particular structure. So if you're watching a movie, what you'll find out is the main character of the movie, they will put that person, the hero, he's the person in the story that you're going to want to become like, they will put that person in jeopardy within the first 10% of that movie. So if the movie's 90 minutes, in 9 minutes, that person has a problem that shows up in the movie. And then the movie is about their external journey and their internal journey which oftentimes are in conflict with each other as they go through the movie. So you can see yourself in that. So you can see how the transformation they made inside created the transformation outside, and you can do the same thing. That's how, like, all good movies, one of the reasons they're called movies is because not just because they're moving pictures, but because they're designed to move you.
Dang, that's crazy, because I'm thinking about Paid in Full. I'm like, yo, money making men. I mean, Ace, like he's going through turmoil, right? In the beginning, hates the job, and then there's an internal conflict.
Right. And something happens, and he's gotta do something that seems impossible on the outside, but before that can happen, he's got to become a person that he's never been on the inside. And that's the same thing that happens with everybody.
Where you get that stuff from? How you? That's a movie, right?
Oh, that's how movies work. And then they go through this transformational journey. And since I'm messing up movies for you, like, spoiler alert, like, I'm going to destroy movies for you for the rest of your life, right? So close to the end of the movie, the external achievement thing that they're going for, it looks like it's not going to happen, period. The end, it looks like the movie's going to end and the hero's going to die and all of the stuff that goes with that. And then all of a sudden something happens, some miraculous thing happens, and then and then the music comes, and then they rise to save the day. And so now you feel hope again.
That's great.
I learned that.
He described every movie that's ever made in 3 minutes. That's crazy.
And I learned that from Michael Haig, who's the guy who created the Heroes 2 Journeys. He's a movie consultant. He's a script consultant. He consults with, like, actors and script writers on their movies to make sure that they actually move people.
I've always been the person, and most people won't talk about this, but I've always been the person that had to prove myself. Yeah. And as an adult, I don't know what I was proving, right? But I was always proving that I was good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, funny enough. Like, I had always had to prove myself as a child. So that level of confidence just really just instilled inside of me, because I was always proving to who I don't know that, like, I could be all of these things. Now that is generational trauma, right? If you really start to unpack the layer, you realize that I was proving those things because growing up, something had to transpire that made me feel less than for whatever reason. But I like to take a negative and turn it into a positive because that level of confidence made me amass the amount of success that I have today. So my advice to you is, and I don't know if you've ever felt like the underdog in your life before.
Yeah, all the time.
Right.
Yeah, to this day.
Till this day, right? And if and when you have those moments, use it as motivation to rise above that insecurity and just take life by the balls. And that's exactly what I do. Even with all the success that I've gotten, I still feel like the underdog, and I still feel like I got something to prove, but I'm not proving to anybody else. I'm proving to myself that I could be all the things that I want to be, that I can still be a big dreamer and execute, that I can not only have money in a bank, but make an impact, that I can, like, create products and change lives. Like, that's my thought process now. So I've turned the negative to a positive, and you could do the same thing too.
There's never been a Black founded social media startup that has achieved the level of success of an Instagram or a Facebook, but we have to do that because there's so much benefit. You're telling me right now, sitting in this room, all these people, you're telling me if fan base is making $113 billion a year, or when it is, that we're not going to give money to the hood.
I would hope so, for sure. And because I know you and what you stand for, but not everybody. It's not like what Bob Johnson, right? BET.
No, that's not. He didn't make $115 billion. That was like $6 billion.
But still, whatever he did with the $6 billion, he would have done with $116 billion.
Right.
So I mean, it's kind of one of those cases.
$116 billion a year. It's a way to. It's multiple things that it does because it gives the opportunity to empower us via our culture. It's just like, lifting ourselves up.
My point is, whatever you're doing at whatever level of success you are doing it at, if you had more success, you'd be doing it at the same level. Like, for instance, I go to schools now, but I've been going to schools to talk to kids since I made my first $100,000 with my t-shirt brand, when I actually netted like $25,000.
Right.
But I was still going to school. So the point is, I believe, like, once you build it, because you have a heart for people, and I believe you would come back and help the community, right?
And it's about disruption. If you're not pissing somebody off when you're building something, then you're not doing it right.
Right.
And I'm pissing Instagram and Twitter off.
Are you?
Yes, absolutely. They like, yeah, but I keep saying that's a good thing though. They're worried about me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm just a little guy, because if it's like this, it's like, if the culture and the technology are under one roof, where do we exploit? Where do we exploit? Where, you know, all the culture that all the revenue that Black culture brings into Facebook and brings into TikTok, on the back end of that, where's that money going?
To shareholders, squad.
Shareholders or private owned investors that are riding around in yachts and saying, you know, cool.
Right.
And again, I would ask anybody to go to Instagram off the $115 billion, you know, they said, and say, hey, put like, you know, why don't you put like $5 billion a year in the hood? And they're like, no, but keep doing those dances. Keep making them skits though. We need them skits though. Right.
And what makes fan base different?
So fan base is a democratized social network. It's separated because one, and I said this before, Instagram was really, really fun from like 2010 to 2014. And Instagram is the only social media platform that I knew what it was going to do the moment that I used it. I was one of the first million users on Instagram. I said, oh, this is about to kill, or this is about to kill the website. This is going to kill the blog.
Why'd you feel that?
Because I don't have to go to ESPN. I don't have to go to World Star. World Star's here. ESPN's here. My friends are here. Everything is here in a feed. It's convenience. It's mobile. It's in my hands. And I'm just it's just right there.
Yeah.
So it just made everything. It's a container, right? Rather than a standalone store, which websites are. Websites are a standalone store.
Yeah.
Instagram was a mall. Like everything's in there.
Gotcha.
And so you stumble upon other content, other people, and I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And so community at the core is really what the success of Instagram is. But again, it has like that timeline of what's going to make people valuable and relevant. And so Instagram was just something that I got, but you could go viral on Instagram and get like 2 million users in a day. You know, you might be on World Star, like some fine teachers working out, right? And then advertising came into play, and advertising changed everything. It turned everybody on the platform into a competitor against the platform. So everyone that is on social media right now is in competition, or the platform is in competition with you. And I prove that a million times. It's based off visibility. It's ads, ad revenue, right?
Explain that.
Okay, so let's take the word follower and throw that out the window. All right, now let's take someone like Kim Kardashian that has 300 million followers, but let's turn that to viewers.
Okay.
Use the word viewer now. How many people watched the Super Bowl this year?
I don't know. A lot.
118 million.
118 million.
How much did they charge for a 30-second spot?
Trillions.
$7 million. So if Kim Kardashian could post a piece of content and instantly reach 320 million people, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not like the Super Bowl's on 1 day a year for 4 hours, she could charge $21 million every time she posted a piece of content. And the brands would come directly to her and never spend a dime with Facebook and Instagram to ever run an ad. Like, here, Kim, here's $21 million. Put that shit on your page. 300 million people about to see it.
Goodness gracious.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they would do. So the moment that advertising came into play, platforms started to suppress your content. And I prove that. I tell people, go look at Kim Kardashian's page right now and look at her following versus her reels, right? Her reels views or whatever. And it's about maybe 5%. At one point it was like 1.8% because they have to limit your visibility so they can run advertising.
My mom, so I remember telling my mom, like, I want to expand into sweatsuits. And at the time, American Apparel was doing wholesale sweatsuits. And I'm like, this would be my first time doing a sweatsuit because I really had t-shirts. I had a fashion show with t-shirts.
All t-shirts.
All t-shirts.
Fashion show.
It was like we were just showing you how to style t-shirts with just suits and skirts and different items.
How many t-shirt designs did you have?
2.
Yo, you spent $25,000 on a fashion show with 2 designs, all t-shirts, just worn differently.
But guess what? It's because my fashion shows is not about the fashion. It wasn't about the fashion. It was about the experience.
Talk to me about this experience.
It was about, so like every time I put on a show, I love entertainment. Like I'm all about like just making people feel good. So from my first fashion show, like I made sure we had a poet. Like I like the poet to like make you feel. We have a dancer or we have a performance. Like, so we had a ballerina performing. We had It was 3 runways too. So it wasn't even just one. It was 3 runways. So we picked the songs and it's just like a vibe. Like it was a positive vibe that we did in the city. And the show would probably be like a 3-hour type of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And like the city comes out for the fashion show.
This is crazy.
Yeah. And I had t-shirts. Yes.
All t-shirts.
Yes.
But it's the experience. That's a perfect example, man, of it's not about the thing that you have, it's about what you do with it.
Yes.
Right? Your vision for that. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna go with these t-shirts and we're gonna run it. So you ain't had no sweatsuits, no hoodies, no jackets.
No, I just had t-shirts. We would put the t-shirts on with a suit. Like it looked really cute with a suit. We had it on with so much. So I had a stylist, but she just styled the same t-shirts with different items. And the fact that you said that, you pointed it out, I didn't think it was weird until you just pointed it
That's
out.
strange.
I'm like, damn, I did do a whole fashion show with t-shirts. Yeah. We had different colorways though. We had like so many different colorways. I had so many different color options.
Yo, you know, in hindsight, it's like super genius because I would imagine all of them said Milano, right? So
yeah, and then they had the 5 cities one. The one that got the 5 cities on it too. So we had different ones. You gotta pull a video up. When you do this, when you edit this, you gotta pull the fashion show video up. It's on YouTube.
Oh my gosh. All right. So 5 days after your fashion show, it was profitable.
Yeah, it was profitable.
I mean, I'm talking about like before the fashion show.
The business was profitable?
Was the business profitable? Because, I don't know if you really got into the numbers because you knew I'll sell. If I run out of money, I just get some more.
It was profitable. So, like, I know that. So, like, the money that I was getting was more so for me to live, you know? Like, for me to just have, like, my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then, like, he'll buy me stuff if I need it. But it was profitable because I had an accountant back then, too. So, like, the first year we did it was $14,000.
$14,000 first year.
Yeah. And then, did I go all
Yes, absolutely. What was the second year?
Second year, I'm not sure if it was, the second year was like 1 something. It's like probably 165. And then the third year was 3 something. And what year was that? No, 2012. Actually, no, 2012 it wasn't. 2013 it was 14,000.
14,000.
2014 it was, I gotta look. They sent me the whole breakdown.
Right.
I know 2016 we hit $1 million.
2016 you hit $1 million. The first $1 million.
Yes.
In that 1 year, 2016. Mm-hmm. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So in 7 years, 70 million?
I used to be a trash man, right? Made $6.25 an
like
hour.
Back in the truck?
Like
or you were the driver?
I was the driver.
You're a driver.
I was a shuttle driver. I would drive the truck to the dump. After they went and filled them up, I would drive them to the dump, empty them, come back, get another truck, drive it to the dump, dump it. I'd do that 4 times a day and I was done. Right?
It's a terrible job.
It wasn't.
No, I mean, in terms of like the smell?
The smell was terrible. The fact that you had to get up at 2:30 in the morning, that wasn't fun. Right? But the fact that you got off by 12:30 in the afternoon, that was okay.
True.
I'd come home and take a nap.
And a shower first.
Oh, and a shower. And then I'd get ready to go out and sell life insurance at night.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So trash man during the day.
Life insurance and investments, mutual funds and stuff at night.
Were you married at this time?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that lifestyle, the conflict. Because you were married. You had kids at this point?
One at that point.
1 kid.
Mm-hmm.
No lifestyle at all.
Oh, no lifestyle. If we made $300 a week from the job, that was a good job. And I wasn't making sales yet from the insurance. I was just doing the presentations. Yeah.
And what makes somebody in that position believe that they can be successful? Or,
well, first of all, it's not the position that makes a person believe they can be successful. It's the condition of it's like the condition of being a human that makes you be. Like God built you with potential. He built you with the ability to believe in your potential. And then you have the cultural hypnotic societal mechanism that programs that belief in your potential out of you. Your belief in your potential is natural. Your lack of belief in your potential is unnatural. That has to be taught.
I guess as a child, you have a certain belief that you can walk or that
you. What did you want to be? I'm going to be a fireman. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be an airline pilot. And I'm going to be G.I. Joe. You're going to be all this stuff.
I did have a life-size poster of Allen Iverson because I was going to go to the NBA.
Exactly. But you know what happens? All of the rational adults rationalized, which means they told themselves and you rationalized. They rationalized you out of it. 75 million people a year want to go to the NBA and only 3 of them make it. What makes you think you're going to be one of those ones? Like, wait, what?
Did you talk to my dad? You told him my dad? He didn't tell you to say? Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. You have to learn that you can't. You believe that you can. It's natural to believe that you can. You have to learn that you can't. And fortunately, some of us like have people telling us that we can, but most of us have most of the people who we look up to in our lives, our teachers, our parents, our grandparents, aunts and uncles, tell us that we can't because of 2 things. One, they're protecting us, they think, from getting hurt because they don't want us to feel the pain they felt when they attempted and didn't do it.
Which is noble.
It's understandable.
It's understandable. Yeah.
Okay. And the other reason is if we actually do it and they didn't, that's an indictment. By the way, that's one of the reasons your peers don't want you to succeed because it's an indictment. Well, if you do better, now I got to go do better, or my wife ain't going to understand why is he doing better and I ain't doing better.
Wow. So that, I guess, dang, you know, I always understood the principle of the environment, right? Your environment is going to change you before you change it, right?
100.
But it's because of what they're getting you to become, I'm gathering.
Exactly. Here's what's really interesting. Most people have no idea who they are. You know why?
Why?
Because they get their identity from society. And they think they are who society tells them they are. So if you don't look like them, in fact, you could, like, scientifically from Fibonacci sequence, like, perspective, actually look way better than them. But because they feel intimidated by the fact that you look way better than them, they will tell you that you look worse than them. And so what happens is we buy into the lie of what society tells us because society is most of society refuses to embrace their own greatness. So when you step into your greatness, they feel intimidated. So they try to intimidate you out of your greatness. And so what you got to do is you got to, like, I believe the best way to understand who you are is to know who you are based on whose you are. I remember when I was in elementary school, and I remember when I learned in school, I was probably in the 3rd or 4th grade. And because we come home from school, my mom would say, so what'd you learn in school today, baby? Well, today I learned that we're a higher form of animal. My mom said, don't you ever say that again. It's like, okay.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're not an animal. You're made in the image of God. I didn't know why she was so bent out of shape, but she was like lit. Don't you ever say that again. My child ain't no animal. And I said, okay, yes, ma'am.
And I like to be so transparent now because, well, I've always been transparent, but like, especially podcasts, because I don't ever want to sit here and be the person like, everything is sweet. That's a lie, right? We go through ebbs and flows. We got speed bumps. I'm the entrepreneur. Yesterday I cried. Right? Because I'm like, I'm tired today. Like today just don't feel good today.
About what though? Is it just some sort of emotional thing overtakes me, or was there a specific thing that you're crying about and you couldn't figure it out, or what was it?
Sometimes it's just like, you don't know what you're crying about. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But specifically, my assistants was getting on my nerves, if you want to be honest. and then, you know, I'm a woman. So like I just had a baby 4 months ago, right? So hormonally, I'm all over the place sometimes. But I'm also a very emotional CEO because I did not create my business to make money.
Yeah.
I created it because it was a passion project for me. So I'm passionate about it. So when things, you know what gets me emotional? When somebody wrote an article about Slutty Vegan yesterday.
Right.
And this was the first time, I think that's probably what the root of the problem was. It was the first time that somebody wrote an article about Slutty Vegan where we didn't get rave reviews. So that was shocking to me. It was a student article, right? Like not a big reach, whatever. I got over it. But it triggered me differently because everybody always loves the brand, right? So when somebody didn't love the brand, it made me pay attention. Like, wait, what's wrong, right?
Dang,
you understand what I'm saying?
I want to say something too real quick. I can imagine people want the love, but when people don't love what people normally love, they take it hard. But if you've never been loved, a little bit of love, you feel it more, but the hate, it's like, oh, I've been hated all my life.
Yeah.
So the negative comments hurt you.
Yes, it did. And I looked up and I was crying like, Pinky, get it together. What you crying about? But I had to realize what you asked me in the beginning, how do I feel? I'm in transition. And it's a great transition. But guess what happens with transition? New levels, new devils, right? As you elevate, there are going to be elements in that elevation that are going to look unfamiliar. I'm used to everybody loving Pinky. I'm used to everybody loving my brand. The level of elevation that I'm going to in that frequency, everybody ain't gonna love you. Everybody won't appreciate what you do for the community. Everybody won't say, oh, she's dope. And everybody won't say that. And I'm getting to a place where I'm learning how to embrace all of it and not pay attention to the things that I don't need to pay attention to because it's going to get me off of my focus. And the focus of the exercise here is to be clear so that I can continue on this journey and break these generational patterns that have been created for me when I was a kid.
So then this is how they trick you. So then they say, well, to get higher in the algorithm, post more content. But by posting more content, all that does is give them more content to run ads in between. So you're giving them space to run more ads to make more money. And they're telling you do that because it'll make the algorithm and you'll get higher and
But do they boot the algorithm so that we have that result of posting more? Because you post more if you get more engagement, right? So are they shooting?
No. They just nullified all that yesterday. They just proved all that was some BS. They said, oh, we're starting Meta Verified. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Meta Verified. You can buy your blue check now, but it also comes with higher visibility, higher ranking in search.
Yes. Yes.
That means your content was never reaching nobody. They was lying to you the whole time.
Right. Okay, I see.
You have to listen to what they're not saying as opposed to what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're telling you like, oh yeah, reach more people and get higher visibility. Fam, if I have 200 million people that want to see me and you're only showing me to 7 million people, you're playing with my money. You're playing with my reach. You're playing with my audience. I have a product to sell. I have a message to get out. You're playing with them. Or why am I here?
So when you buy the verification, are they going to let everyone be verified?
Anybody that pays $11.99 a month, which again is a subscription, and we'll get to subscriptions in a minute.
100%. But I wonder if the paid verification will look different somehow than the celebrity verification.
So I'll say this, probably so. And if so, it's because of fan base. So I'm gonna just say this. When I built fan base, I said, you know what we need? I told Ramiro, I said, for people that work at fan base or really early investors, we need a gold verification badge. So there's the blue, but then we got the gold.
Right.
Like high executives, high level investors, very important people, right? As soon as Elon took over Twitter, if you go to Twitter right now, all the Twitter accounts have gold verification checks now. And all they're gonna do is get everybody, what they're gonna do is they're gonna let everybody use Meta Verified and they're gonna switch that check. They're gonna switch the color and add another level.
Really? Hold on. On Twitter, there's gold verification.
Go to Twitter right now. Just go to Twitter and then start and type in the search and start Twitter. And all the official Twitter accounts will have gold verification badges.
Well, the only person I really follow, I do follow Elon.
No, he won't. He doesn't have one.
And I only follow a few people because it started getting too crazy. And I got kids. And if you go on Twitter, if somebody likes something like I'm talking about, it's porn on that joint.
It's inundated with porn. I don't know how it stays on the App Store.
Yeah, I only follow 6 people, bro. People that I know ain't looking at that.
No, but just take a look at this. Look at these accounts. So see Twitter? See how it has a gold check mark?
Oh,
right?
Gold check.
Right.
Michael Jackson, blue check.
Yeah. But I mean, for official accounts, right? Now let me show you. So on Fanbase.
Michael Jackson, blue. You got it.
So on Fanbase, when you search for users, I've always had that. Yeah, I've had that since like 2018, 2019.
And that's for people that were on early.
Yeah, or people that work for the company. So you know, like, oh, this is an employee, like a high-level executive of Fanbase. So Rama, who's my CTO, the official Fanbase page, Dre works for Fanbase. So you'll know, okay, those are people like, okay, I know who that is.
Got you. All right, so dang, that's crazy. 200. This is my question before I find out what you did with the 200,000. What makes Fanbase different in terms of social responsibility? Because you were saying they make all this money and they don't bring it back to the hood. What makes Fanbase different?
Because we don't run ads, so it's not based on advertising
at all.
Based on rev share. No, it's a rev share model. Meaning you can have followers and subscribers on the exact same page, which is why when Instagram started doing subscriptions, we knew that was a big sign because remember, I told you Apple would not let me build what I wanted to build at first. Me and Ramiro went, and this is a great, this shows you how great a CTO Ramiro is. We said, okay, I spent all this money, and Apple says, I said, we want to build an app where people can subscribe to people, but like use like the fingerprint or the face scan and then just charge. And they were like, no, you can't do that. And we were like, why? And they said, well, we have this thing called a subscription profile. That means every time you subscribe to a product like Spotify or Tidal, on the back end, we have this thing, a profile for you. They said, we're not going to let you build an app that you could have a user subscribe to 100 people, and then you want it with 100 million users, and we got to keep up with billions of subscription profiles. And I was like, we're screwed. I said, I spent all this money to do this. We ain't gonna be able to do it. And Ramiro was like, no. He goes, listen to what they're saying. He goes, that means you're about to do something that hasn't been done before. He says, follow their rules. So we're not going to break them, but we're going to bend them. So the initial prototype of fan base was you could subscribe to one person. That's a profile. You could subscribe to 3 people. That's a profile. Or you could subscribe to 5 people. That's a profile. And they said, okay, you can do that. And we built that. And then we heard Instagram was doing subscriptions, and we hit Apple, and it was like, wait a minute. And they were like, oh yeah, you should reach out to subscriptions. We've had a change of heart of the way we view subscriptions.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, word, wow.
Oh, word.
Word. Cool. But we did it. So we transitioned, and so now you can subscribe to as many people as you want. Like they created SKUs, like they changed the model of subscriptions. And let you create SKUs with price points, and you can have as many, a certain number of price points and subscribe to as many people as you want to. So I was like, oh, we did that. We were the first app to do it.
So they're following you.
They have to though, but I'm not worried because it's a big world out here, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And again, them kids are not coming to Instagram.
Yeah. I be on my fan base too, man. I get a notification from you every day because you be like, there'd be a particular topic.
Yeah.
Like, all right, Grant Cardone says this. Let's talk about it. I'm like, okay, I'll see what's going on.
So my goal for fan base is like subscription is going to change the world, right? It's going to really change the way because it's so much money that people are making because what social media has built their legacy off of is like fame and clout and notoriety.
100%.
That leads to revenue, right? So it's like give an exhaustive amount of content, go viral, and then maybe become famous from that. And so much of my experience in the music industry has prepared me for tech because nothing's more grimier than the music business. So once I got into tech, I was like, oh, this is easy. This is going to be easy. But it reminded me of the mixtape game. It's like, oh, okay, so social media is like mixtapes. You just throw out mixtapes after mixtape, and then the one song they hit, and you get famous, and you might become a star. That's where social media is right now. And so I was like, okay, but that is a cultural, Black culture behavior as opposed to white culture behavior.
What's the white culture?
White community puts a value on something the moment that they create it, and they charge you for it. They do. There's never, you don't see no country mixtapes, no pop mixtapes, EDM mixtapes.
Hold on. Garth Brooks ain't make no mixtapes.
And then on top of that, when you look at platforms like Patreon, like check them out, the majority of the creators on there are white that make the most money. And they might have started in 2016, but they're making $198,000 a month off 20,000 people. You see what I'm saying? So I tell people, do you want 1 million followers or do you want $1 million? Because I know people with 13 million followers on TikTok that are broke.
Yeah, 100%.
All it takes is 5,000 people paying you $2.50 a month, right? That gives you $12,500 a month, $150,000 a year. 50,000 people is $125,000 a month, $1.5 million a year. So imagine the average American salary is $47,000 a year. All you need is 5,000 people paying you $2.50 a month. You're making $150,000 a year, more than 97% of Americans. That's the future. And nothing's going to stop that now. Now that we're all connected through mobile devices, there's 7.5 billion people on the planet with a smartphone. Only 222 million people on Netflix. Only 616 million people on music streaming services. But 7.5 billion people being able to subscribe to another 7.5 billion people is going to obliterate the revenue that any of those platforms can make combined.
If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.